Perhaps some of you will have seen the last video I posted in the 56 TP, and remember that I said something along the lines of me being jealous or wishing that I had the same opportunities that our last hero had, and that was fighting a lot of tier 6s in tier 8 tanks, and a lot of those tier 6 players not being the brightest and coming at our hero one tank at a time and messing up their shots just to be completely annihilated. Well, I tell you what here, Sean, or Shav N, we're going to call him Sean because that's simpler, is not going to have the same sort of luck. Mostly. Well, we'll see near the end. There might be a bit of an exception to that one, but he's not going to have such an easy time. I mean, firstly, there's not any tier 6s in this match. He's fighting tier 7s and tier 8s and tier 9s. Not too bad of a lineup that he has to fight against, but really not going to be as easy as fighting a bunch of tier 6s. Well, this spot that he's going to here, we're skipping right to the battle now, is a spot that I haven't gone to in a medium tank in a long time, and it's actually been so long, this map has been changed probably a couple times substantially since I took the chance going up here. And the reason I stopped going up here is because I used to get shot in the side all the time trying to get into this position and losing a whole bunch of my hit points for absolutely no gain whatsoever. But Sean here is going to make that location, the spot where he's in, look a whole lot more appealing than I have ever felt it be before. It does start with him needing a little bit of patience here, but it won't take too long until this Yogg Tiger manages to do some cliff diving and give him some free damage there without any problems. Now Sean is poking out here. I'd be a little bit nervous to do that because he's still spotted. Something else might shoot him, but he is poking only the amount of tank that he needs around that corner and then doing absolutely no more damage to the Yogg Tiger whatsoever. You can see he is keeping an eye on that AMX 1375 that's up there. The Yogg Tiger's now fired at I don't know what, wasted a shot, and Sean is going to go ahead and take some more hit points that the Yogg Tiger is now donating to him. There is a T25 AT up here, but that's not really that scary of a vehicle, to be honest, and if I were Sean, I wouldn't be too afraid to exchange a shot if need be. But hey look, a light tank, which is probably more dangerous. Let's get that gun out of the battle. Absolutely agree. That light tank will spot the enemy, or his team, for the enemy team, and absolutely make their life a little more difficult if he plays the match right. And that T25 AT, well, we can figure something out to do with him in the near future if the chance arrives. And that Yogg Tiger now has taken another shot, leaving himself on one, maybe two shots as a kill. And really, has he done anything in exchange for all those hit points? Questionable. Questionable. As you can see here, Sean does have a 400 alpha damage, and he's been making pretty good use of that so far. He's had a couple low rolls and a couple slightly above average rolls. Really, it's worked out more or less okay. This T20 here gets really lucky there and manages to back up just as Sean pulls the trigger, and he's going to get himself into a spot there, unspotted I might add, where Sean can't really hurt him, and it's going to be really not Sean's problem to an extent for a whole lot more time after that, as Sean is going to get himself a little bit busier. There's that T25 AT we were talking about. Sean might have a chance now to put some shots into him. It's going to take two to finish him off, unless his ally helps him out a little bit, and that T25 AT is turning to face Sean now, but I think it's a little bit too late for his life to be saved, as Sean is about to show us now. Yep, there goes that T25 AT. No longer a problem. I wonder if that T20 over there is going to have himself in a spot where Sean can hit him. Well, not really. There is a bit of a rock there in the way, and it's just not quite going to be the shot that Sean needs in order to finish him off. Sean's going to take another peek here around this corner and see if he can see someone to shoot at. This T20 is almost giving him a shot, but just not quite. And the other side of the map there, although that T20 is over there, is not so close, is not really too big of concern at this point, as I don't think any other enemy vehicles over there. All the enemy vehicles in this match have been spotted, and they all appear to be knocking on Sean's back door. Really, I'm looking at the mini-map lineup there and wondering why more tanks, like that E50, aren't pushing around and giving his team more trouble. Really, they must be expecting more vehicles back there, but that doesn't make sense because a lot of his team is already dead. I think they're just not paying attention to their mini-map. Perhaps the enemy team we're fighting isn't as bright as I gave them credit for at the beginning, and the E50 gets unlucky and bounces off the upper half of Sean's vehicle. And Sean is trying to get his gun down there and trying to make that work and put another shot into that E50. He's probably realizing by now, I'm sure, that the allies he has around here are limited, and E50 is going to give him a free shot again? That's confusing. That T20 over there, though, that Sean left alive, is getting a free shot into Sean's butt, though, but it looks like it's just the one. and now he's fighting the Yog Panther on the other side of the map. This E50 is going to damage Sean's gun. However, he's going to take a shot in return and does no real damage to Sean, so I think it's worth it for Sean. Let's take a step back here and look at the bigger picture in this battle. There are twice as many enemy vehicles remaining, and twice as many hit points the enemy has remaining on their team as well than Sean's team has. The minimap has a lot more red dots remaining on it than there are green dots, and things aren't really getting a whole lot better, aside from the Barask managing to kill the Tiger 2 there just a moment ago. That's really the only golden lining we have here to show off. I really hope here that for Sean's sake, he has a much better plan than I would have in a similar situation here. And you know what, guys? Spoiler alert, he absolutely does. Look at him. He's looking over at this Skoda T50, approaching his base. He's probably thinking, you know what? I need to do something about this. So, you know what? Buckle your seatbelts. Hang on to something real tight. Here we go. He's going in. He saw the E50 is fired. He's going to take this opportunity to finish off the E50 without taking a shot of his own in return. Of course, it cost one of his allies his life. That T20 is still alive over there somehow. That's a problem. And somebody else is already on the enemy base. It's probably that Skoda T50. But Sean has to get over there and find out now. And I'm really hoping that for Sean's sake, no one shoots him in the butt right now, given that there's still a 703-2 and a few other relatively scary vehicles that are over there as well. And they don't know exactly where they are. And that Barask over there being alone, it's probably not enough for that Barask. The Barask probably isn't enough to hold off the entirety of the enemy team that's remaining on that flank for very long whatsoever, even as an intimidation factor. Sean is taking his time. He knows he has a minute left. He's trying to find where that, presumably, Skoda T50 is in there. And there he is, sitting in the middle, in the open. Sean has managed to keep down that ridge low enough that only his nicely armored turret was showing above that ridge line. And now that Skoda T50 has backed off of the cap completely, and the T20 here has gotten himself into a bit of a predicament, trying to help neutralize Sean. The Skoda T50 is back on the capture now. That might mean one other thing, though, and that's that he is driving through it to come after Sean. The Skoda T50 has that 3-round auto-loader doing a little over 900 damage if he manages to penetrate all 3 shots. So far, he's managed to pen one, bounce the second, and what is going to happen with the third? Is he going to put it to the side there? Oh, he bounces it off the side. He missed an opportunity to penetrate that shot. Not that it would have made a whole lot of difference anyway. It's not going to be enough from the Skoda regardless. And psych, it's the 4th shot from the Skoda. He's not even using the auto-loader. He's using the single-fire gun. Now, while all this was going on, while I was fighting the T20 and the Skoda, there's actually something that a lot of you may have missed. For a second there, Sean was alone in a 1 versus 6 situation. That means that if he's in a 1v5 or greater, he's actually in contention for a Calabanos medal, which is a pretty epic medal that probably not a lot of players have, or at least have very many of. But there is still 4 enemy vehicles to go, and they have a lot of hit points remaining, 2,700 or so. Make that 2,400 or so, and Sean has a big job ahead of him. Now, remember what I said about that 56 TP replay that I showed you last time? Well, something about the fact that all these enemies shouldn't push him one at a time and make stupid mistakes and bounce their shots and completely waste their time. Well, that's sort of happening here, and that's exactly what Sean needs. That's exactly what needs to happen to have an epic battle like a lot of the ones you would see posted on YouTube afterwards, including this one. This is getting silly now, but don't worry, Sean's not out of the water yet. He only has enough hit points to survive probably 2 shots from enemy vehicles, maybe 3 shots, depending on which ones hit him. You know, give or take, math and stuff. And Sean is going to continue to not let that deter him. He is going to push around the side here after this Carnivore. No, he's not. He's going straight after because the Carnivore got spotted. He is spotted in return. He's still going to continue to push around the side and go for the Carnivore flanking maneuver, which is kind of scary because who knows where that 703-2 is, and that is definitely the most scary vehicle remaining on the enemy team. It's arguably an overpowered vehicle in the first place, and that Carnivore has had all the time in the world knowing exactly what Sean is doing. There's a 703-2, but didn't manage to make anything of it whatsoever. Now, it's worth noting that Sean here is using heat rounds now because that's all he has left, which means that he can't fire through those little brick or clay or stone walls, whatever they are in the town here, because his shot will just be eaten by them and not penetrate like APCR round that he was using previously would. And that was actually what managed to get him the kill on the SMVCC. I'm pretty sure that shell went through part of a building or part of that wall and got a kill anyway. Now, that 703-2 appears to be on the enemy base already. Scratch that. The Black Prince is here as well. They're both on the enemy or the allied base capturing. The 703-2 doesn't take a shot there, doesn't die, precisely because of that heat round hitting the wall and doing absolutely nothing. I like how Sean is just completely ignoring this Black Prince, not even seeing him as a threat. The Black Prince fires 2 shots, doesn't even manage to hit Sean, let alone penetrate him, and all he needs now is a 703-2 to make a mistake like that and not double blap him, as he was probably trying to do. Now all he has to do is take out this tier 7, who is managed to do absolutely nothing against him now, and actually is just sitting there in the cap with his flat side towards Sean. Like, what are you doing? What are you hoping to accomplish here? You're now a 2-shot kill against this 122 TM, and what are you doing? I'm face palming for you. In a situation like this, I would absolutely, that would miss. I would absolutely be tempted to empty out all the remaining shells in my magazine and pick myself up a Faden's medal, because this Black Prince, he must be using a trackpad or something like that on his laptop, because this is so sad. And Sean here only has 5 shells left remaining, and I would absolutely want that Faden's medal. I haven't got one before myself, and really, I don't think this Black Prince is a big enough threat to even stop him from contending that if he wanted to get it. But he decides to go right to the point. It's serious business here. Let's not be silly and throw that away. He manages to pick up 9 kills and get himself 7,000 damage done in this battle. That is absolutely respectable. And by the way, I haven't mentioned it, but a lot of you that may have found this video and hopefully watched it all the way to this point are probably aware that this vehicle is on sale in the World of Tanks Premium Shop until April 5th, along with the fancy 3D style that Sean here is using. Again, I'm not sponsored by Wargaming. I don't care if you buy it. Just thought you might be interested in knowing that if you saw this replay and thought, you know what, that looks like a pretty freaking awesome vehicle. I want to get that. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.